Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about today, including a brand new Instance Battleground Edition, the DPS logs for this week and what's changed with all the classes, important community discussions, and so much more. My name's Sky from the Comeback Kids. I hope you had a Merry Christmas. Sit down, grab a cup of coffee. We got a lot to discuss, but before we do, a quick word from our sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, a free-to-play fantasy RPG game that has an incredible story, online PvP, and so many things to explore. My whole life, I've been playing high fantasy RPG games, and I've always loved these sort of gameplay styles and settings. The best part about Raid is that the game is actually free on Android, iOS, and PC, and you can download it and try it using my link or by scanning the QR code on screen here. Now, there's a reason when you think of RPG games, Raid Shadow Legends is easily one of the first to come to mind. The game is constantly dropping massive updates and is one of the biggest games on the planet. I mean, it has stunning graphics, amazing sound design, and challenging gameplay that really makes it an immersive experience that literally fits all in the palm of your hand. This holiday season, they're actually just released the Cursed City update, bringing you 100 new stages to complete across increasingly difficult districts, some where you have to fight 2 bosses at the same time. New rewards like supersonic and merciless artifacts, which can be used to summon epic and mythical champions, and generally just adding so much more replayability into the game. If you haven't started playing yet, then you are truly missing out. Use my link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen now to receive epic heroes like the Lightsworn. Once you're in the game, go ahead and join my clan, the Comeback Kids, and we'll be playing together. And I'll be seeing you all in the land of Tyria. Okay, welcome back. Now, if you're a big PvPer, we may have some very shocking news to reveal to you. After intensive testing from the public, it's been discovered that inside of Warsong Gulch, there is actually a 25% hidden damage reduction inside of Instance Battlegrounds. Now, we don't know if this is going to be something that is permanent or something that is going to be implemented inside of other battlegrounds such as Arathi Basin, but for right now, it is currently active and inside the game. It's something that has never existed before inside of World of Warcraft, and the thing is, the rabbit hole actually goes a little bit deeper. First of all, pets are not affected by this damage reduction, hence why inside of Warsong Gulch, you feel like you're taking so much damage from hunter pets, and it feels like they are melting your health bar alone. Now, coming from someone who does a ton of Warsong Gulch, I can say from first-hand experience that wind serpents are still very powerful, and their lightning breath is hitting anywhere between 175 to 200 damage, and their bite can crit upwards of 160 to close to 200. So yes, hunters are still very powerful, and while everyone else is getting this damage reduction, the strongest part about the hunter class isn't getting touched at all. Secondly, healing isn't affected by the 25% reduction either, which is why if whoever has more healers on the other team has a very significant leg up because there isn't any diminishing returns and they're healing for almost entire health bars with a single penance cast. This is why Disciplined Priests feel very hard to kill and most of the time can live through multiple players attacking them at one time. It's very clear that if you participate in Warsong Gulch, 2 things stand out more than anything. Number 1, pet damage from hunters, and number 2, specifically Disciplined Priest healing overall. This data proves exactly why this is, and players are taking it to the forums, stating things like, "This makes sense why I feel more threatened by pets and not the warrior with the epic 2-handed sword." Or players stating, "This is absolutely absurd and needs to be priority number 1 to get fixed," and explains why everyone wants hunters nerfed, because they are literally overpowered. Even some players going as far as saying they need to remove the 25% damage reduction immediately. PvP is not supposed to be like the Burning Crusade and beyond. No base resilience, no resilience at all. I think without a doubt, until Blizzard and the developers actually take a deeper look into this, Battlegrounds are going to be very lopsided to whoever really has more healers and hunters on the enemy team. I know a lot of you out there don't like the idea of having some sort of damage reduction or resilience inside of PvP, but with all these incredibly overpowered rooms being implemented into the game, this can help permit you from getting just one-shotted every like 5 or 10 seconds from abilities like Lava Burst and Chaos Bolt. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, because this is a very, very big, hot, conflicted topic in the community right now. Moving on now to more PvE side of things. Season of Discovery has been out for a little over 3 weeks now, and with all the constant class changes coming in over the past couple weeks, we just wanted to update you all with some very important DPS log changes inside of BFD. Just remember that these logs are parsed in the 95th percentile, and these are players that are generally amongst the best of the best, so try to take this with a little bit of a grain of salt. Now, yes, it is official. We have a brand new top DPS class, and it belongs to the Warrior. This very gear-dependent class is now finally obtaining just about all the best gear possible, and they are melting bosses and dealing in some dramatic cases anywhere from 350 DPS on single target all the way up to 400 DPS on cleave fights. Right now, warriors are using Consumed by Rage to pool their resources, to then dump it all with massive attacks like Quick Strike, Raging Blow, and Overpower. Right now, combining all that with the epic two-handed sword makes them deal incredible damage. Not only that, a huge surprise to a class spec and rising in the ranks is going to be the Destruction Warlock. This class is now officially parsing ahead of the Retribution Paladin. Once again, it seems that now Warlock is getting more and more loot and stacking up that spell power, and they are starting to perform quite well inside of Season of Discovery. Constantly casting Incinerates, Immolates, and Chaos Bolts has really allowed this class to truly shine. Don't forget, when it comes to Ret Paladin also, they had a massive advantage early on in the launch, with them having the opportunity to obtain their level 20 weapon, Varigan's Fist, which was much stronger than everyone else's weapons going into the raid. So now that everyone's starting to get on the same playing field and equal gear, other classes' damage is going to rise, while some of the other classes is going to fall. This is why classes like the Rogues and Warriors are starting to kind of top the DPS meters, while classes like the Paladin are slowly starting to drop and balance out. Speaking of other casters, it seems that Arcane Mages are loving the Living Flame buffs and have increased in total ranking score by almost 5 total points, pushing them above Balanced Druids once again. A few days ago, Blizzard made a change to mages, making it to where their Living Flame ability now benefits and consumes stacks of their Arcane Blast, and just that little small change right there shoots them up a few points and ratings. Other than that, generally things have been relatively stagnant inside of Season of Discovery when it comes to the DPS rankings. Elemental and Enhancement Shaman, Shadow Priest, and Frost Mages are near the bottom, while physical damage dealers are reigning supreme. And if you think warriors are dominating right now, just wait till next phase comes around. We also saw an interesting post the other day over on the forums talking about some of the future runes that could be coming in the game. The user states, "One thing I've noticed, and maybe this is just me, but all the runes we've gotten have been greens, also known as uncommon, which makes me think, are they planning to add rare or epic runes in the future? Maybe they could be improvements of existing runes, like, say, Rare for Crusader Strike, apply Seal the Crusader to the target, similar to how NPC's Crusader Strike works. Maybe even have them drop inside of dungeons and raids, and give them longer quest lines? I think this could be, personally, an amazing addition for even more progression inside of Season of Discovery, and keeping older runes and older content more relevant. Now, I'm not saying we need to do this for every rune in every new phase that comes out, but maybe just a hand-select few to give some other benefits to using those rune slots. Now, this could very well just be players overthinking and overlooking something very, very simple, but it could be very interesting to see the possibility of this happening in the future. Maybe you need to grind out specific materials that drop from raid bosses or difficult encounters to be able to upgrade your runes, maybe even grind out brand new reputations from open world PvE or PvP rewards. I feel like anything is possible with the classic WoW team, considering we're playing a version of WoW where we're capped at level 25 and running BFD as a raid. I would say for the most part, Season of Discovery has been very excellent so far, but that doesn't mean everything is always sunshine and rainbows. I saw something very interesting the other day over on Twitter, posted by the content creator Sarth, displaying a video on a Chinese botter showing off their collection of Season of Discovery bots, and he states that this is a problem and there's no easy solution, but something has to be done. What you're seeing on screen right now is someone controlling hundreds of bots inside of Season of Discovery, roaming rampant and farming gold to sell online to players. Even other content creators like Zaryu have been sent clips and reacting to rogue bots even fly hacking inside of SFK to do God knows what inside of the dungeon. I think at this point there's really one solution to this problem, and it's simply just increasing the manpower and hunting down and eliminating as much bots as they possibly can. Nevertheless, this is a very big crisis inside of WoW because it makes people not want to farm gold in the traditional sense that you normally would. Crucial crafting materials like Grave Moss, Wild Steel Bloom, Oily Blackmouth, and countless other materials are so drastically saturated and overfarmed, it's not even close to being worth it to spend hours farming gold. There are players out there that are hard-working adults or fathers that only have a couple hours to play a day, and they stand no chance in competing for materials and making a decent profit spending all that time out there. This then leads them to simply swipe away a credit card and spend $20 to make way more than they would have farming it themselves. What do you think about the botting problem inside of Season of Discovery? Is it something that you've noticed already? Do you think it's something that Blizzard needs to crack down on? Do you think there's something deeper happening at play? Let us know in the comment section below. We also had a really popular post over on Reddit with the title stating, Season of Discovery is so much more fun with 3-day lockouts and a 10-man rating. I hope they continue this. It takes such a huge weight off your shoulders that you can, set a day with your guild or friends to go in there that best meets your schedules. I don't know when the last time you all played Classic WoW was, but man, gathering 40 people to get together and organize is just exhausting. I've always preferred the 10-man rating style over the 25-man, and I really would enjoy if they just kept on doing 10 and 25 mans, maybe near the end game at level 60. But I think leveling up and going through all the phases of 10-man just feels like the perfect amount of people. The only thing I don't love about 10-man rating is that it encourages the raids to be designed a little bit easier and clearable for most of the player base, because every person in a 10-man rating is really impactful toward clearing a boss because it's not so saturated of a raiding environment. I personally would like them to tune up the difficulty some more when it comes to the next phases, because I think it may help for the longer-term replayability of this content. Speaking of our awesome Comeback Kids community, our previous news video just broke our top 5 most liked video on the channel over the last year. 2,000 likes is something that is absolutely insane, so we just want to say thank you so much once again for supporting the algorithm to try and make us become the best Season of Discovery content creators we possibly can for you all. We couldn't say it enough. Thank you so much. Starting off our top comment section with a banger, easily one of the most highly requested features for Season of Discovery, is coming from Psy4, stating, it would be nice if they brought dual spec in Phase 2 when we cap at level 40. That way we can enjoy these new builds, the full capabilities, beyond just switching our runes. I gotta say, I cannot agree more. At level 40, so many things change for every spec in the game. I mean, right now, you're seeing a lot of class-based builds rather than there being a true variety of builds out there. I mean, how many times do you see Holy Paladins right now out in the world? How about Lone Wolf Hunters with no pet? What about Guardian Druid Tanks, Shadow Priest, Elemental Shamans? I mean, there are so many classes that get a true identity at level 40 that you don't even see right now at the level 25 bracket. Once you hit level 40, so many builds come online, and I really think players are going to be a bit upset if we don't get dual spec. I would say, though, that the Classic team has been really on point, and they have made hints that dual spec is coming. And I mean, what better time for it to come than at the level 40 bracket when every class spec is truly just so much different from one another. So hopefully in the next phase, we get dual spec online. We also have a comment from Black Cleaver, shout out to you, also saying, I honestly think the rune abilities are too powerful across the board. I think they can use a blanket nerf to mana cost and damage, just enough to make our base kits slightly more relevant. That said, this is easily the most fun I've ever had in WoW, faults and all. I will say that rune abilities are very powerful, and everyone can agree with that. Not only are they dealing 2 to 3 times more damage or healing than everything else in your kit, they cost little to no mana, which makes things even crazier. This is one of the primary reasons why priests are so good and paladin healing is so bad. It's because Paladins don't have a single rune that gives them a brand new healing ability. This means they're relying on their kit from Classic WoW to do healing, and it's just simply never going to compete with classes that have multiple healing runes that are so powerful. If you look at Shaman, for example, Lava Burst costs half the mana of Lightning Bolt while dealing 5 times more damage than it as well, so I do think there needs to be some sort of tuning there per se. We also have Alexander stating, in my opinion, it's time to nerf warriors now that they are way too strong. Seeing warriors do 400 DPS on Lady Seraphis, this is completely out of hand in my opinion. I did tell you guys over a month ago that I think warrior was going to be the top DPS in the entire game when Season of Discovery launches and they get all of their gear. I mean, a ton of their rune abilities are percentage damage based, and their kit is just so strong inside of raids. They may not be strong right now inside of PvP, but I think a lot of that is going to change next phase with them getting things like Mortal Strike and some more crucial abilities to play with. But I do think inside of dungeons, as some of the pure DPS classes like Rogue, Hunter, and Warrior, they should be topping the ladder. But the only thing I don't agree with is that they should be miles ahead, because if that's the case, it'll just be a copy and paste of Classic all over again. I don't think really anybody wants that. So, speaking of DPS, we also got Not My Name stating, I'm just happy to see Retribution Paladins going from worst melee DPS in Vanilla to worst melee DPS in Season of Discovery. Really changing things up here. I mean, I played Ret Paladin all throughout Classic, clearing all the content I possibly could. I'm not going to lie, my damage was horrible. I mean, there are warriors right now in Season of Discovery that deal more DPS than my Ret Paladin at level 60 with Hand of Ragnaros, so that just goes to show how bad Ret DPS was back then. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, leave a comment below for me to respond to live here on these news videos to have a little bit of a discussion point and talk about it. I really love hearing from all of you guys and seeing your opinions on these topics in the news videos. So if you want your voice to be heard, please let me know all about it in the comment section below. Once again, want to give a big shout out to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring the video. Don't forget to check out that link in the description below during their super awesome Christmas event. If you guys enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe to get absolutely flooded with Season of Discovery content. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. It really is an absolute pleasure for making content for you all. Until the very end, my name is Sky from the Comeback Kids. I will see you all in the next one. Peace.